I'm going to start. Find yourself a seat. So we're going to begin practicing acceptance by just focusing on the breath. And always take a moment of general acceptance for where you are as you come into your meditation. What are you bringing into the meditation? It doesn't have to be cataloged mentally. It just wants to be experienced. How does the body feel? How do the emotions feel? How does the heart feel? What is the mind like? Is it super active? Just notice any other distractions, or those are all part of how you're beginning. And you can begin practicing acceptance right from the beginning. When you start to think of meditation as a practice of acceptance, you start to realize that it doesn't have a goal. That you do not need to feel relaxed or great or happy or peaceful. You do not need to be undistracted. Those are all normal things that will happen, but are not always going to be there. We're just going to make one little effort here. You could even say it's one little non-acceptance so that we can practice acceptance. And that is, we're going to make our attention focus on our breath. For some of you who've been doing this a while, that feels like drinking a cool drink on a hot day. You're just like, yes, I want to focus on the breath. And for some of us who are just beginning, or it's just that kind of day, or we don't like the breath as an object, there's some like, oh boy, that's okay. We just accept that's where we are. And what we're trying to do is see or experience what is with our breath. What is actually happening? What is our breath actually made of in our experience? We have an idea of our breath. That might be a picture of ourselves breathing. We have words we might say about our breath, about our meditation. And then there's the actual physical feeling of the breath, which is what we really want to focus on. What does the breath feel like? The breathing experience has a shape and a location in space. So you can experience the physical feeling of that shape. You can focus just on your nostrils or your belly or the whole body breathing, the whole torso. The breathing experience has vibration or movement in it. flowing experience. You have something you can feel. At first, the mind is very bored by this. It seems so simple and uninteresting because the mind is used to much more exciting phenomena, a lot more drama. And it will try to find problems in this breathing experience, in this meditation experience, and that is fine. That is the habit of mind. The habit of mind is non-acceptance. That's okay. That is what it is. The mind is what it is. But we can keep coming back and reminding ourselves, well, what is actually going on in the breath? Yeah, maybe there's no drama there. Maybe it's not interesting. But what is this present moment experience of the breath? It's got shape and location. It has vibration and flow. It's got pressure, lack of pressure. It has heat and coolness. It has expansion and contraction. Again, we're not trying to catalog all these details. We're using whichever one is available to allow us to experience the breath in this moment without resistance. This is what is. This is what is. This is what is. If you have any level of concentration available, one of the most useful things to add in here at the beginning is to remember that we aren't trying to control anything. So we aren't trying to control our breath. Just notice the habit of controlling what you observe. So we are observing the breath, which doesn't need you to control it. You breathe all day long without thinking about it. But notice if you started to control when you breathe in, control when you breathe out, control where the breath goes in your body. Just see if you can't start letting go of that. We're not trying to make the breath right. It can be shallow. It can be short. It can be long. It can be imbalanced. That's all fine. We just want to see what is. We aren't trying to improve it in any way. So really notice, can you just wait for the breath to come in? Waiting for an impulse inside of you that has nothing to do with your own intentions. Can you just let that breath go in as long as it wants to? Waiting for an impulse to stop. You let the breath go out in the same way. Sometimes when you really do this, you'll find that the breath has very weird patterns at first. But we're practicing acceptance here. So we want to allow these sensations to arise as they would if we were not there. If we weren't looking. If we weren't interfering. Practicing non-interference. It's another way of talking about acceptance. Is true non-interference. And this is a kind of love. Don't ever forget that the practice of acceptance is a kind of loving attitude. To just let people be is a loving way of being. To let your breath be and just take it in is a loving attitude. There's a loving kind of gaze, a loving attitude one can have as one allows everything to be without interfering, without saying, I know better. At first, this can be challenging to let go of controlling the breath. Our habit is so deeply ingrained. So just keep noticing and keep letting go. Your mind wanders to other things. Notice that is what it is. I was distracted. And bring it back to the breath. If any of you are finding one very strong distraction, an emotional or physical distraction, or psychological or external sensation, that's okay. You could spend a little time just accepting that, right? You can let go of the breath and just notice the distraction, say, this is what is, until maybe it will release you and let you go back to the breath. It's just skillful means to not get in a battle with a distraction. Likewise, if you find yourself really incapable of not controlling your breath, don't get in a battle with it. Just notice that intention to control your breath. Just allow that to keep happening and notice what it's made of. Notice where and how you are interfering with your breath. Over time, that practice of accepting that that's what you're doing will bleed into that intention, and you will slowly be able to let go of controlling the breath. And you will notice that the breath is breathing itself. The breath breathes itself. It is not something you do. And if you sit there with no other thoughts and no other feelings, ultimately you'll just be the breath breathing itself. There will be nothing else going on. So we're practicing concentration now, and a label can be very helpful here. You could label it breath, or you could label the in breath and the out breath. So it might sound like this in your head: in, out, in, out. The label is not something to control the breath. It's merely an observation of what is. This is an in breath, up, and this is an out breath. So we've been doing this meditation for a couple of months now, and I really want us to build a basis of a practice around something simple. So this is the first stage, is being able to follow your in-breath and your out-breath with acceptance. Don't have to get it perfect, but over time you should be able to stay with your breath without distraction for at least short periods of time. Your attention becomes like honey. It's just smoothly following every micro moment of the breath up and down the scale. There's ultimately a lot of peace and relaxation that can come from this practice. It might not be here today or right away, but over time, it's very quieting to the system to be engaging in acceptance, even if it's only acceptance of your breath. So that's the first stage, in, out, concentration, acceptance. The second stage we've been working with, and I invite you to engage with this now if you wish to. You can stay on the first stage if the concentration doesn't seem to be there. But if you're ready, start adding in the whole body. You may already be doing this, but if you haven't, start adding in the whole body at the end of the out breath. So you're following the breath in, you're following the breath out, and as you sink into the out breath, feel the whole body. When the breath comes back in, you go back into the breath wherever you're focusing on it, the belly or the nostrils, the heart, and then you return to the whole body. So we're doing a little zooming in and zooming out during the breathing experience. Over time, you could just be feeling the whole body while you're breathing. That's fine too. That's just a zoomed out practice. And you could label it like this: in, out, whole body. In, out, whole body. Now, the practice of acceptance continues, but now we're accepting our whole body right now. This can be very challenging depending on our relationship to our body. So there can be pain and discomfort. There can be parts of us that are emotionally activated. Just notice how much resistance you feel to going to the whole body. We want to build our practice around acceptance. So if there's a lot of non-acceptance to going to the whole body, well, you can skip it for today, or you can zoom out as far as feels good. So for instance, you could be focusing on the nostrils, in, out, and then just focus on the whole head. Whole head, in, out, whole head. Over time, you allow that to start expanding and including more things. But whatever the obstacle is, it is what it is. It's not a problem. Yeah, your body has some pain. Your body has some emotions. Just those are what you have to work with. You might have some sadness about that fact. That's what you have to work with. This is the body experience that you've been given. It will not last forever. It will probably not even last till the next moment. So the whole body, if you're really doing it, it's going to include the head all the way down to the feet. It's going to include the back of the body and the front of the body. It's going to include inside the body, into your fibers, your organs, your bones, and outside the body, all around the skin. And again, if you're finding a lot of resistance in the body, just think of it like you're flying over a city in a plane. There's a lot of crime and violence and traffic and noise in a city. There's also a lot of beauty and excitement. You don't need to engage with all of it right now. You're just accepting that's the city. I'm seeing the whole city. That's my body. I'm seeing my whole body. I'm experiencing my whole body. This is how it is today. I'm practicing non-interference. In, out, whole body. There seems to be some part of the body or the breath that is separate, doesn't feel like it wants to come on board. You could give that a little extra attention, especially on the in out. You could sort of go in and feel the throat or feel the heart or feel the belly. And just let go of intention. Any pain or discomfort, emotional discomfort or tension in your breathing apparatus that isn't purely physical is a hidden intention. It's something that the body has wanted to do for a long time. So you just let go of controlling that. It's been pushed down, and you just accept that this is here. Oh, yeah, there's some bruising in my chest, or there's some pain in my throat that is emotional. You just breathe and you let yourself feel what the breathing feels like without needing to go into the emotion, go into the feeling, without needing to control. It is what is. And then when you go to the whole body, see if you can't let that part be part of the whole body. That emotion is part of your whole body experience. It's not separate from it. It's connected. It's allowed as to be part of the whole experience. I'm going to be silent for a little while, but I do encourage, if this has been challenging or it's bringing up difficult emotions or discomfort, to give a little extra attention to something pleasant in your breath or in your present experience if you can't find it in your breath. So we'll finish up. We continue with in, out, whole body, but we're putting a little extra tension on, oh yeah, this part feels at least neutral or pleasant or relaxed. pleasant thing is also what is here. The out breath is intrinsically relaxing. Doesn't mean you have to feel perfectly relaxed, but notice the quality of letting go that happens on the out breath. We sort of let go when we're doing this practice fully into the whole body. And then ultimately into awareness. We breathe out and we just fall back into the whole body. We fall back into awareness. We fall back into wider and wider versions of awareness until we fall back into unbounded, unlocated awareness. Where we start by just noticing, oh, a little relaxation in my shoulders or my belly. Happiness is. It is what it is, and what is awake. Everything that is awake. It's got to be in awareness. It is what it is. What is all one thing. It's one experience. This is what it is. This is. Happiness is. Awareness is. Breath is. Okay. So just let yourself move if you wish to, as your body would like to. Thank your body for giving you some stillness. Twist your back a little, you can roll your shoulders. You can do any sort of stretchy, improvisational movement that feels good. Stretch out the length of your neck. Always reminding your body that I know we were going to be still, but it's not going to last forever.